What's going on, guys? Aaron from PhoneDog.com. And what do you do when you're a carrier like AT&T and you have two flagship devices now? Well, you call in Aaron Baker and you ask him to do a dogfight. Motorola Atrix 4G just came out on AT&T, definitely a flagship Android device. And then you have the iPhone 4. This is actually the Verizon version, but for all purposes, it's exactly the same with the exception of a couple features, which we'll cover in the video. So the question is, which one's the best? Should you go with the iPhone, the flagship that's basically been the flagship for the past 3 years, or actually 4 years now, 3.5 years, or the Motorola Atrix? We'll find out in the dogfight. Special thanks to our gang over at Best Buy Mobile. They're hooking us up with two of these, so we can give them away to you and the One Paw Bandit, because we like giving away stuff. When you go into Best Buy Mobile to get this or to get this, they'll hook you up. They'll make sure you walk out working, get that email set up, get the web set up, teach you how to make, well, I'm sure you know how to make phone calls, but you get the idea, walk out working. Enough of that, let's get into the dogfight. Which one's the best? Atrix? iPhone 4? We're going to find out. So you have two awesome AT&T devices, the Motorola Atrix 4G, the Apple iPhone 4. Now granted, like I said, this is the Verizon version, but there's so many similarities it's okay to compare this. When we get into speed tests and things like that, I'll be sure to give you the disclaimer again. But I mean, two high-end devices, which one do you go with? This has been the flagship for some time, newcomer to the block, but pretty awesome. I mean, these phones are crazy. They're as crazy as Charlie Sheen, actually. I'm sorry, I had to make a Charlie Sheen joke. That's what all the cool kids are doing. So anyway, Motorola Atrix 4G, 1 gigahertz, NVIDIA Tegra 2, dual-core processor, so it's super fast, 4-inch QHD display, very high resolution, looks great, a little pixelated in comparison to the Retina display and Super AMOLED, but anyway, 4-inch display, 5-megapixel camera, front-facing camera, and you can see it there, and then Android 2.2 with Motorola's Moto Blur user interface. iPhone, you know it, Apple's A4 chip, which is rumored to be running around 1 gigahertz, 3.5-inch display, iOS version 4, and 5-megapixel camera on the back, front-facing camera for FaceTime, and you know the rest. But so two cool devices, and you wonder which one to go with. This is $199.99. This one's also $199.99, but there's a great accessory ecosystem that comes with this one. Not to say that there's not with the iPhone, but at least in the AT&T store you can get the laptop dock, you can get the media dock, and a couple of other goodies with the Atrix 4G, whereas you have to go to the Apple store, I believe, to get at least half of the accessories for this. You want a bumper, AT&T doesn't sell the bumpers, for example, you have to go to the Apple store. So something to keep in mind. Good accessory ecosystem, and it's good that they're selling them in the carrier's store. So let's look at both of these. Android 2.2 iOS, obviously, and you can see it's running Moto Blur, and this is what it looks like. You have a couple of pre-installed AT&T applications, Blockbuster, and you can see because it's Moto Blur, the little icons like the contacts are different. Scroll down, AT&T Live TV, Media Share, which is a Moto Blur thing, My AT&T, and then you have YP Mobile, and then WebTop Connector, which is new to the Motorola Atrix 4G, but that's part of what goes with the laptop dock. So something to keep in mind there. Now, Moto Blur, a lot of love-hate relationship with that. I think, and I'll get into this more in the dogfight, but I think Moto Blur kind of hurts this device pretty significantly, as opposed to being stock Android 2.2 or Android 2.2 with the lesser version of Moto Blur like the Droid X, the Droid 2 has, the applications platform, if you will. But kudos to them, because I will say they do allow the AT&T applications to be removed, but like any other AT&T Android phone, you can't sideload applications. So you want that HTC Sense keyboard, the stock Android keyboard, the one that comes with Gingerbread, which is still stock Android, but you get the idea. Can't sideload those with the native ROM that comes out of the box. So keep that in mind. Then you have, of course, iOS, which is an incredibly clean install. No carrier installed applications. This is actually what it looks like out of the box, save for iBooks, which you install when you go through the App Store. And a couple, I moved some icons around, but that's exactly what it looks like. Of course, I have applications as well, but other than that, very clean install, no AT&T applications. That's what you get out of the box. So you have a clean install here, and this, like I said, you can remove the AT&T the app, so it's not as much of a concern, but still, it comes with them pre-installed. Let's take a look really quickly. Let's jump into the messaging and have a look at the keyboards that come pre-installed on both of these devices. And let me jump into messaging here. There we go. New messaging. Now obviously, the iPhone 4 comes with one keyboard. It's the same keyboard that comes with all the Apple devices. Well, when I say all Apple devices, I mean the iPhones of the past and the iPod Touch. It's a standard Apple keyboard, which can be used in portrait or in landscape mode. Let me turn off portrait orientation so you can see. I think it's one of the best keyboards on the market. You can see, let's see, the Quick Brown, what do we want to say? The Quick Brown Fox. And I'm off my game today. The Quick Brown Fox is ready for the weekend to come. So you can see, Quick Brown Fox is ready for the weekend to come. Very easy to type. Auto-correction is very good. I remember when the first one came out in 07 and was so impressed with auto-correction. Well, it remains the same. Keyboard looks good there. And then on this one, you have two keyboards. You have the Motorola's multi-touch keyboard, and then you have swipe as well. And Motorola's, if you know, you've seen my videos, you know I love this keyboard. But it's a little crunched up on a 4-inch display, but you can still use it pretty effectively. How are you doing? So you can see, pretty easy to type. Pretty easy to type and talk at the same time. So a few errors, but still. You can use that one in portrait or in landscape, obviously, and the landscape's a little bit bigger. But then you have swipe as well, pre-installed on this, so if you want to change the input method, you can, and if swipe's your thing, by all means, it is pre-installed out of the box. Let's go back. I want to talk a little bit about the hardware of these devices, because they're both the same price if you go into AT&T and buy. This one is very plasticky, rather. You can see camera on the back, the battery door, if I can hold it, the battery door here, and you can see, you know, it has this kind of carbon fiber look, but it's all plastic. You have the speaker down here. On the left side, you have HDMI and micro USB, so you can plug it down into that laptop dock, as you saw in the CES videos when I shot those. Volume rocker on the right side, nothing else beyond that, and then, like I said, your camera, and then your power button, which actually this power button's kind of in a funky place over here on the side, but the reason why is it doubles up as a biometric fingerprint scanner. So instead of entering a code when you unlock the phone, you can use a biometric fingerprint scanner and go that route. 3.5mm headphone jack here, so it's definitely durable. I mean, I'm not feeling any sort of issue like holding it. I mean, it's very durable, feels good in the hand, no problem there. But for the people that want something like the iPhone 4 with the Gorilla Glass, with the metal form factor, or something like the Inspire, where it's, you know, a little bit that metal unibody construction's a little bit better, then, you know, this may not be the device for you. The Apple iPhone, on the other hand, very thin device, and you hold these up, it is thinner than the Motorola Atrix. I can't hold them up and preserve the same thing, but you can see there's, hopefully you can see at least, there's a difference there. It's a little bit thinner. Typical volume rocker on the left side, and then your little toggle here to turn it between vibrate or silent and normal volume. 3.5mm headphone jack, power button, 5-megapixel camera with a flash on the back, but otherwise very minimalistic design and absolutely beautiful. I mean, this to me, most beautiful device on the market, hands down. Love the metal, beautiful glass. Now the downside to this, if you're like me and you take it into a coffee shop one night and you accidentally drop it, even with a case on, you accidentally drop it face down, you're most likely going to shatter. Hope I shouldn't have done that, but you most likely are going to shatter your screen or cause some damage to the device. Very easy to damage. You know, I dropped it from, I was actually at a table, so I dropped it from about a 3-foot. It was about a 3-foot drop, and, you know, it made damage, cracked the screen, and I had to replace it. It was $200 to replace it. So, you know, the trade-off for having a device that's really nice and looks good could be a little bit expensive. Let's take a look at the web browsers on both of these devices, because, you know, it's a good comparison between Android and between iOS. And hey, this is Dogfight, isn't it? So you can see Apple loaded here. Let's go to Phone Dog on both of these devices. Phone Dog, that's not how you spell it. Phone Dog, not dough, phonedog.com. Then we'll load it up over here as well. Not in swipe, because that's not cool. Phone Dog. What is it with the P's? phonedog.com. And then we'll wait for that to load. Now this one is loading up as we speak, and even though it's not fully loaded, you can see the pinch to zoom is very fast. Now granted, this one does not have flash, so you can see the advertisements are staying in place over here, but it is not a flash capable. It's HTML5. So, you know, something to keep in mind there. So it is running faster, but it is missing out on the flash train, if you will. A little bit of checkerboarding over here, which you can use it in portrait or in landscape mode pretty easily, and then you can lock it like I prefer. But you can see there's a little bit of lag there when you go through, but the transition effects are absolutely beautiful. Instead of making it the blocky Android, you'll notice that, and I've shown this off in previous videos, you'll notice that the transition effects are very different. Let me get through this real quick. Go over here, hit X. You can see the transition effects are very slow, but otherwise pinch to zoom relatively quick for an Android device. There's a little bit of a lag, but compared to other Android devices we've seen in the past, the page is still loading, so keep that in mind. It is running Flash as well, so you can see commercials on the side are running. You can see the graphics on those. But take a look at the transition effects. They're very blocky. You can see here that transition effects, those transition effects rather that the iPhone 4 has really set it apart, in my opinion, on the web browser front. Now you look down here, you have the ability to open up a second window, new page, and then once that's open we can scroll back and forth between those pretty easily. So simplicity is key on iOS. Down here you can go to menu, new window, bookmarks, windows, what you've seen from Android devices of the past, and then go back to Windows, and you can pick one. So same idea, different implementation, and it's, in my opinion, it's less fluid as the iPhone 4. So the browsing experience, to me at least, I would give it to the iPhone 4. One place where Android's set apart from iOS, widgets. Widgets are where it sets itself apart, and you can see Motorola, I will give them credit, despite the fact that the full version of Moto Blur is not the best. Motorola has some great widgets. You can get those on the lesser version of Blur, like the Droid X, the Droid 2, but I happen to like them a lot, and again, like anything, it's a love-hate thing. But let's take a look at date and time, for example, and we'll hit done, and we'll go over here and take a look. They're customizable widgets, where I can go over here, I can change the way they look, I can change the where they're located on the screen, and then if I wanted to go back to calendar mode, for example, I could click it. So very easy, gives you the ability to customize how you want to customize. Instead of a blocky widget, you can see it just did it again. Instead of a blocky widget where it's kind of, either go big or go home, it's not going to fit on this page, the widgets are much better on this device. And this device has widgets as opposed to this one not having it. Now the trade-off, battery life. This does have a 1,930 milliamp battery, and in my opinion, on Android devices it's very good, but take a look at the Android widgets here. Advanced Task Killer, some stuff I've installed, but VLingo, YouTube, Power Control, News and Weather, typical stock Android widgets. And you go into here, and then you see the Motorola widgets, and you can see those on the screen. Text messaging, weather, I happen to like the weather one, that's a good one. And you can see, go up here, we'll bring it up, and we can customize that one as well. So easy to customize. If I happen to have a full page and just wanted a tiny widget icon at the top, I can do that with ease as opposed to Android devices. Now this doesn't have anything like that. It has the little icon, little app icons, but they have not gone to widgets just yet, nor do I think they're going to anytime soon. The trade-off is battery life. This battery life is phenomenal on the iPhone 4. I'm able to make it easily through a day, into 2 days. For example, I didn't charge this yesterday and it's still at 44%. So with Bluetooth use. So keep that in mind. That's moderate use. But even with heavy use, the battery life is much better on the iPhone devices as opposed to Android devices. That said, on Android devices, comparing apples to apples, Android to Android, this is one of the best that I've worked with.